In this lab I'm going to show you how to modify the root bridge selection. So what happens is when you have switches connected, interconnected like this, STP election runs and it selects a root bridge, and with the switches themselves they have a default priority of 32768 on each switch. That's a Cisco default. So what happens is, unless you change the priority, STP will elect the root bridge with the lowest MAC address, and that's a MAC address assigned to the physical switch itself. So what happens in this topology, I've got 3 switches, and switch 2 currently is elected as the root bridge for the switching configuration. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the root bridge to switch 3. And I'm going to do that by lowering the priority on switch 3 so it's lower than the priority on switch 1 and switch 2. So we'll go to switch 2 and I'll sign on. And I'll show you what the current root bridge is. It is switch 2. And note that when you're running per VLAN spanning tree, as most do, there's a root bridge for each VLAN. So VLAN 10 has a root bridge, and so does VLAN 11. They're often the same, but they don't have to be. So you can change it per VLAN if you want to. Often it's just the same switch. But each of them is assigned to a different. They have their own root bridge. And in this example here, this bridge is the root for VLAN 10 because I asked it for VLAN 10. It's telling me this bridge is the root for it, so it's the root bridge for VLAN 10. All ports are designated, so that's how you can tell. And I'll go to VLAN 11, and VLAN 11, it's the same thing. So switch 2 currently is the root bridge for VLAN 10 and VLAN 11. So what I'll do now is I'm going to go to switch 3. I'm going to configure it. So in this example here, little configuration mode, and I'm going to run a command. Now I have to lower the priority for each VLAN on this for VLAN 10, 11 on this switch to make it the root bridge for all VLANs for the entire switching infrastructure. So I'll use this command spanning tree VLAN 10 priority, and I'll just use a lower priority. So we'll go over here. Spanning tree VLAN 10 28672, and you have to if you're going to lower it from the default of 32768, you have to lower it by a factor of 4096. So that's something you have to consider as well. And I need a priority statement in there too. And I'll do the same thing. I'll up arrow and I'll assign the same priority to VLAN 11. And I'll go to the top. And so at this point I want to verify then. So I've changed the priority for each to make it lower than the default. And like I said, this is just this switch. It's a global command on the switch itself, but it changes it because the spanning tree instance runs on all 3 switches for VLAN 10 and 11. So how I'll verify is show spanning tree summary. So I'll look at the summary now. And in this example here, this is the root bridge for VLAN 10 and 11. I'm on switch 3. And so there it is there. And I can go show spanning tree VLAN 10, for example. Let me use some different kinds of information. So it tells me there's the current priority. So that's made it the root for VLAN 10. They're all designated. I can do the same for VLAN 11. It'll tell me the same thing. Notice it's the root bridge as well. This bridge is the root for VLAN 11. If I go back to switch 2 now, and So what it does is it says there's no information, that it just says this is 11, so it's the priority is just higher, so it's not the root bridge. There's no it's got a root port and 2 designated, so it's not the root anymore. When you have a root bridge, it always has designated ports. The root port actually points to the root bridge. I'll go to 10. It'll tell me the same thing. There's a root port. So that's the one that is actually facing the new root bridge that's on switch 3. And there's no reference to it being the root bridge here either. So that concludes the root bridge selection.